Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 106.7 The Fan. I'm Drew Stalling with Jack Lotson, Finnegan, Courtney. And, guys, today, the NBA draft is only a couple days away. We're going to see Victor Wembanyama go number 1, right? We can all agree on that. But then after that, who's going number 2, Jack?
I think Scoot Henderson is the best player in this draft. I think the Hornets would be stupid to not take him. Though he's may not be the best fit, but I think him and LaMelo would be one of the better backcourts in the league. I think he's a phenomenal player with incredible Russell Westbrook type upside. I think he's phenomenal.
Figure anyone else you see going number 2 besides Henderson?
I think Scoot is the right pick, and I think it's what I think would be happening. But Brandon Miller from Alabama, despite the shooting allegation and everything happened to that, I think he's also a viable candidate for number 2. I think Scoot is a better pick, but Hornets might be looking there too.
And there's a big controversy going on right now with the number 3 pick with Portland. Could that pick potentially be packaged to somebody else in a potential Damian Lillard trade? Speaking of Damian Lillard, could we see him traded before the draft on Thursday?
I think both those options are very plausible. I think the Lillard could be traded and the Blazers could trade their 3rd pick. It all depends on what direction they want to go. If they want to compete with Dame for the next year or two, or if they want to start their rebuild like people have been telling them to do for the past few years. Dame was a phenomenal player, and I think he said that if they keep this 3rd pick, then he doesn't really want to be there. You've heard some Zion trade rumors. I think he could be traded for the 3rd pick, and the Pelicans could start their rebuild over, and the Trailblazers could contend with the big duo of Zion and Lillard. But I think both is very possible in the next few days.
And Jack brings up an interesting point, Finnegan. Could we see Zion Williamson trade? I mean, the Pelicans, they have that number 3 overall pick that they could potentially get Zion to Portland. Is that something you think the Pelicans, something that the Trailblazers could really do?
They could, but I think it would be a bad idea, honestly. Zion, for all his talent, is very undurable. We've seen it over the past 5 years. He's only played less than half his games since he entered the NBA, and last year, I think under half the games in the season. So I think wasting the 3rd pick on Zion, who could be good, but it depends on injury, is a bad idea. I think if I was Portland, I would trade Lillard, keep that 3rd pick, and draft either Miller, maybe even Cameron Moore out of Villanova.
And it looks like we have a caller. We got Jake from Chattanooga. Jake, you're on 106.7.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking my call. Big fan of the show. Really interesting decision the Blazers have with Lillard. I think the best move for him is to go elsewhere to try to win a title and help the team there. What do you think the best spot for Lillard would be moving forward?
I see rumors all over the place. I think the Sixers could really contend with him and a Joel Embiid duo. I know it's a lot of egos there, and Joel Embiid's kind of been. Joel Embiid wants to. I don't even know if he even wants to win anymore, but I think him and Lillard could really contend in a hard East. Another spot could be even like the Lakers team up with LeBron. They've always talked about that. I think the LeBron and the Lakers are looking for a point guard, whether that's Lillard or Chris Paul or someone else. I think Lillard could go plentiful of places.
Some interesting destinations there, Finnegan. You have any more potential spots that we could see Damian Lillard traded to before the NBA draft kicks off on Thursday?
I think there's one very clear destination. I think it's the one he's going to end up, but I think he's going to be traded to the Knicks, honestly, to pair up with Brunson. Randall needs to get out of New York. It's obvious to anybody who's watched basketball. And I think packaging him, maybe another player, and a couple picks for Lillard could work out really well. That front court or backcourt, would be interesting to see.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see, Jack. Two point guards. Is that something you think the Knicks should really do?
I think so. I think the NBA has transitioned to a positionless basketball, and I think that's probably for the better. You've never had too many ball handlers, in my opinion. Brunson's been a phenomenal player. Kind of came out of nowhere these past few years. Kind of blossomed with New York from Dallas. And Damian Lillard, you know what you're going to get from him. He could be something special next year. He could be an MVP caliber player if he gets a new scenery.
Well, guys, the NBA draft kicks off Thursday night live from Brooklyn. Should be a really interesting draft and a really interesting offseason. We'll see you next time on 106.7 The Fan.